Hello guys, and welcome to a new series which I'm doing, which is Let's Beat Donkey Kong 64 with 280 golden bananas, otherwise known as max percent. So this is a complete contrast to the last Donkey Kong 64 series which I did, which was Let's Beat Donkey Kong 64 with 0 golden bananas. But this time I'll be looking at a more extensive look at the game and just generally getting more of a feel for it and stuff like that. Firstly, we're going to be doing something which is known as intro story glitch, to create something which is known as MMM, which basically just gives us all the moves for free. Okay, so we're now in intro story glitch, and you can tell that by the fact that the music isn't there. And we're going to, as I said, we're going to do a couple of things. Firstly, we're going to get all the moves, and this is what, if you watch an LE run, you would have seen this before. This is going to be the exact same sequence as an LE. So firstly, we're going to go and talk to Cranky, and we have to be relatively quick with this, because we're trying to prevent going into fade outs at points where we don't want to. So for this bit, we are going to cancel the text, and for a brief period here, after I cancel the next bit of text and go into the main menu, we will be in intro story, but the way that it works is that it's going to be sending us back into the actual menu quick enough, as it just did there. I'll try to explain as much as I can, but because this segment contains so much, it's so it can be difficult to explain and do all this at the same time. So we're trying to get back into the menu as soon as possible. Firstly, we have to view our file, and that's so that it just basically writes that file. Next, we're going to be watching all the boss cutscenes. Now, because that was a fade out into the intro story, to produce more fade outs, we're going to have to enter Monkey Smash. And so we're now going to go into Castle Boss, and we just basically watch as many cutscenes as possible. If we can get to a point where we can press start and exit that cutscene, we can go on to the next one, simple as. However, if it fades us out before we can reach that point, then we have to basically press and go to Monkey Smash and then go on to the next one. It's quite simple like that, actually. So we've now looked at all the boss cutscenes, and so what we're going to do is we are going to go into Jetpack, and this, funny enough, gives us all the moves. We could have played any of the things in the mystery menu, 6 fairy menu list, and that would have given us all the moves. As soon as we actually press play, that just gives us all the moves. Now this bit here, it's down to good RNG. Because I didn't play long in Jetpack, that's not too much of an issue, but we're waiting for a cutscene aside from Leg Shake, Night Cycle and Rain Cycle. And as soon as we get one of those, and it passes 4 minutes and 26 since we started the intro story, we get faded out into our game. And that is our actual game, and with that we have all the moves, all the upgrades aside from Ammo Belt 1 and 2 and all stuff like that. But the downside is we cannot pause because the game thinks we're in main menu, and you cannot pause in the main menu. It doesn't autosave, so therefore if we were to reset, we would have to start all over again. And on top of that, we can't die. So death warping is not a thing. Next we're going to do the training barrels, and these are actually necessary, even though they may be considered tutorials, and tutorials tend to be in some essences unnecessary in games, and I don't know why that happened there. But the reason why we have to do these is they actually give you the moves that they deal with. So a water barrel gives you the ability to swim underwater without having to do pseudo diving. Even though pseudo diving is not in the game, it just allows you to press Z to go underwater in an easier way. If I actually collected that orange, this one here gives you the ability to throw oranges, like so. The barrel gives you the ability to pick up barrels and stuff like that, and Vine Barrel actually spawns the vines which are needed in this game. If you didn't do Vine Barrel, no vines would spawn. On top of that, once you do all 4 collectively, you can buy moves from Cranky. So now that we've done all training barrels, we could go, because we have Super Simian Slam, or Super Duper Simian Slam actually, we could go out there and just stand on the switch and lower the gate, but we're going to do something a bit more interesting, and our first in-game glitch, let's say. I'm just going to pseudo dive there. That is what you would have to do if we didn't have the diving ability, and that's what we do in stuff like 3-Kong and stuff like that. So that's pseudo diving essentially, and I didn't press Z at all entirely of that, but and I've missed it again. Basically, what I did there, which is something which is known as swim through vertical walls, which is when you look at a specific angle, or the Kong is facing a specific direction and he C-ups, he can go through any wall whilst he's swimming. He has to look a specific direction, and that only works on the US version, not the PAL or Japanese version, because they patched it for the PAL and Japanese version. So next we're going to be talking to K Lumsey. So now that we've talked to K Lumsey, we can collect our first GB, which is this one over here. Now, I will say when we get over to... there are different ways of unlocking the Kongs, and I will do that later, because we will have to unlock the Kongs twice and do some of the things twice because of the way that max percent works. But for this, we are going to be collecting, in general, at least 2 GBs per Kong per level, and we have to unlock all the Kongs naturally. We cannot do something which is known as cutout Kongs or K-Rule Kongs, because we're in main menu mode and we cannot pause, which is something which is kind of needed for main menu mode. So let's see, we have to do that. We can actually unlock Diddy though via cutout Kongs, and also we can do K-Rule Kongs, but that would just take far too long and I don't have the time for that. So what we're going to do here is we're going to immediately head over to Diddy here, and we're going to do something which is known as a lag jump. Now, this game is very interesting with its lag. The way that this game is just very laggy in general, so the way that the developers thought of this, so you wouldn't notice the lag as much, is that the more it lags, the more it speeds up your Kong. And so therefore, with lag, we can do stuff like this. That might not seem much, but lag really is a big part of this game. So now shooting a final switch, and that is Diddy unfreed. That is some weird terminology. Also, in this we'll have to, in the first cycle, and I will refer to it as a cycle, we will have to collect a various number of golden bananas to actually kind of make it. For what we like to make the second cycle easier, let's say. On top of that, there are routes for this, but I'm not using any route whatsoever. I like just the freedom of just doing this on YouTube without having to constantly look up routes, and I also think it's more spontaneous. So before anyone asks, oh, like, what route is this, and this is a bad route, you could have done this so much quicker. I know, let's say I'm just doing this just for fun, so I'm not looking at routes or doing anything like that. I'm just doing it just to entertain you guys. Also in this we will be wanting to collect all 40 blueprints, and that is so we can exit main menu mode, which is the glitch which I started off with to get all the moves and stuff. So Donkey Kong's splat is through here, and if it didn't slide. So what we have to do is just simply... oh, we've only got one. That's very clever. Anyway, so we have to collect all 40, and most of them are in alright spots, and we mainly use them because they also are very quick. But some of them are not so quick, so in some cases we might not do them. But for the purposes of this, we will have to collect every single blueprint guy, otherwise we cannot exit main menu mode, and that basically is we wouldn't be able to do max percent. Now we're going to collect Diddy, and another interesting thing about lag, as I said, it's not only the fact that you can go further, it's also wall collision as well. Not quite as easy, not quite as easy as that though, but that shows how much wall collision is bad in this game. The fact, well, it didn't work there, but I'm looking at most of the level. Also, part of the water is here. So I'm looking at a very laggy area of the game, and so in that instance I just lagged it enough so that just walking through the wall would have caused Diddy to go through. But what we normally have to do is do a chimpy charge when the camera is facing the right way. So like so. And what we do from this point is we walk around to the back of Funky's and we collect this GB, and that is just simple as, and it's quite a nice quick GB to do. And actually we'll be doing that chimpy charge clip again because we also have to reach the splat and we haven't unlocked the gates. We won't be actually unlocking the gates at all within this first cycle. I'm just going to be that much of a douchebag and just not collect the GB, even though we could. I just think that it's more fun this way, just not doing things the intended way. You can get into Angry Aztec without fighting the boss in several ways, and it's relatively easy when it actually wants to play ball. But, God's sake, yeah, it is relatively easy to enter Aztec early when it wants to play ball. But the issue is that we're in MMM, and if we were to enter Aztec early, there would be no way to exit without soft locking the game, which means that it would be run over. Maybe I'll show that later on in the second cycle. So for this, tell you what, I'm not going to do that as DK, because as I said, I'm a douchebag, and even though DK is easier, we're going to be doing something which is known as sledge clipping. And with this, what we have to do normally is we have to pay 60 bananas, which is the colour bananas that we have, onto that pad, and that would feed this guy over here, and this guy would raise up and he would be able to unlock that, unlocking the door. And for this boss it would have been DK, but for the purposes of this we're not going to be doing any of that whatsoever. We are going to be, if I can get this right, we are going to be entering this boss with Diddy by ledge clipping, because there are a lot of ledges or walls where there is like a pixel thick distance between where the wall is and where the floor ends, and we're trying to land in that gap, essentially, like so. And with that we're under the level, and the loading zone for the boss actually stretches far under, so we can literally just walk under and we are in Armadillo 1 without DK. Also, you'll note we didn't play the cutscene there. That's because we actually watched the cutscene in the whole main menu shenanigans, and that's just going to basically happen for the entirety of the first cycle. I probably won't do that for the second cycle. I don't know whether it actually carries over, or if you've watched the cutscenes onto the second cycle. I shall have to investigate that. So that is Armadillo 1 defeated, and it's quite simple. It's just one of those 3-hit bosses. Yeah, so that is, we're going to get Keith 1 from this, which is going to enable us to enter Angry Aztec normally, but it also enables us not to soft lock the game when we try to exit. So yeah. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll leave it there for the first episode. If you have enjoyed, smack a like button or whatever, or just leave a comment saying, hey, I really enjoyed this was really fun. But whatever, do whatever you want. So anyways, thanks so much for watching. I've been Ballum. This is the end credits. Signing out.